So welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are heading down the yellow brick road, or maybe a more complicated path to it.
A much more complicated path, for sure.
We're getting into John M. Chu's huge two-part film adaptation of Wicked. We've got a whole stack of critical reviews, fan reactions, you name it.
And this is a really fascinating one because we're not just looking at one film, we're looking at Wicked, the first part from 2024, and its conclusion, Wicked. For good.
And the whole point of this deep dive is to figure out why these two halves of the same story landed so differently. I mean, part one was a critical darling. Just about everyone loved it.
And then part two comes along and, well, the critics are split, completely split. But the audience, they seem to have loved it just as much as the first.
Exactly. So the fans stayed on board, but something about that journey's end just didn't sit right with a lot of the critics. Let's figure out what that was.
Yeah, it's a huge divergence. It really makes you wonder what critics are looking for versus what an audience wants.
Okay, let's start with the high note then. Part one. I mean, its reception wasn't just good, it was fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. You're looking at, what, an 88% on the tomatometer? That's impressive for any blockbuster, let alone a musical.
And then you have the audience score, the popcorn meter, at a staggering 95%. That's the kind of alignment studios dream of.
And it wasn't just online scores. The industry itself stood up and took notice. The National Board of Review gave it Best Film.
Which is a huge deal.
A huge deal. And Chu won Best Director. They even created a special Spotlight Award just for the collaboration between Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande.
That right there, I think that tells you everything you need to know about what made that film work. It was them.
It was 100% them. That chemistry between Erivo as Elphaba and Grande as Glinda, it's the anchor of the whole thing.
You read any review from Roger Ebert's side on down, and it's the first thing they mention. Erivo's performance.
Yeah.
I mean, she captures that loneliness and that simmering power. It's all there.
And Grande, I think she really surprised people. It wasn't just a bubbly caricature. The critics all pointed out how she conveyed that vulnerability underneath, the desperate need to be liked.
Right. It's what makes Glinda's choices in Act 1 make sense. It's not just ambition, it's this deep-seated insecurity.
Exactly. It grounds the whole thing.
And beyond the acting, you have the look of the film. It's a feast for the eyes.
Oh, totally. Chu knows how to stage a massive musical number. We saw that in Crazy Rich Asians. But here, the world itself felt so rich. So immersive.
I remember one review describing Shiz University as feeling perfectly gothic and grand, while the Emerald City felt almost intoxicatingly corrupt.
And that's intentional, right?
Yeah.
The visuals are serving the themes. The spectacle isn't just there to look pretty. It's highlighting Elphaba's journey as an outsider.
Yeah, the themes of prejudice and identity, they just land so hard because the world feels so real.
Which is why it earned all that praise. It wasn't just a shallow adaptation.
But even in all that praise, you could see the seeds of the problems that would come up in part two.
You could. The runtime was a big one, 2 hours and 40 minutes. And a lot of reviews mentioned it felt, a little overstuffed.
And the ending. The choice to end it right at the musical's intermission, right after Defying Gravity.
That's a classic Act 1, closer on stage. It's designed to be pure energy, pure propulsion to get you excited for Act 2.
It's a massive cliffhanger.
Exactly. But when you make that the end of a whole movie, you're putting a tremendous amount of pressure on the sequel. The audience has to wait a year.
And the thing is, Act 2 of the stage musical, it's just a different beast. It's slower, it's more reflective, it deals with regret and consequences.
It's not filled with those big, soaring, I want songs. It's the fallout.
And that brings us to part two, because this is where the conversation completely shifts.
It really does. The audience, like we said, they were still there, a 97% popcorn meter. They got the emotional payoff they wanted.
But the critics, that consensus just evaporates. The tomatometer drops all the way down to the low 70s, maybe even high 60s.
And that's a steep drop. It's a clear signal that for them, something in the structure just broke.
So what was it? When you drill down into those negative reviews, what's the common thread?
Pacing. Over and over and over again, it's pacing. You see phrases like unhurried, overstretched. I think the Telegraph review even called it bloated and boring.
Ouch. That's harsh for a movie like this.
It is. And the argument seems to be that the story material from the musical second act, it just didn't have enough plot to justify a whole other movie.
So all that extra time just felt like padding.
It felt like padding to a lot of them, yeah. The scenes weren't necessarily bad, but they felt drawn out. Elphaba's time in hiding, Glinda's political maneuvering. on stage, that stuff moves quickly. In the film, critics felt it just dragged the momentum down.
And that seems tied to another big complaint, right? The music.
Yes. Part 2 needed new songs to fill out the runtime, and, well, the reaction was pretty lukewarm.
You have Erivo's big new number, No Place Like Home, and Grande's The Girl in the Bubble.
And they're fine songs, but the consensus was they just don't hit like the iconic Act 1 numbers. They're not as complex. They don't drive the plot forward in the same energetic way. They're more reflective.
Which, again, slows things down.
It slows everything down. And then there was the complaint about a severe lack of choreography compared to the first film.
To make sense. Part 1 is all about the spectacle of Shiz in the Emerald City. Part 2 is much more interior, more about conversations and emotional moments.
Precisely. It's darker, it's more mature. But for a 3-hour blockbuster musical, that change of pace was just too much for a lot of critics. Even with Erivo and Grande giving it their all.
Everyone still said their performances were incredible, the saving grace, basically.
They were the heart, absolutely. But for many critics, the body of the film was just moving too slowly.
Okay, so let's connect the dots here. We have these two halves that feel so tonally different. It all comes back to that decision to split the movie in the first place.
It has to, and that's the big question hanging over this whole saga. Was splitting it a narrative necessity, or was it a commercial decision?
The argument for narrative necessity is, that these characters are so complex, their arcs are so big, you need 5 hours to let them breathe.
Right, to really show Elphaba's transformation and Glinda's slow slide into compromise, you can't rush it.
But then there's the other side of it. The commercial argument.
Which is pretty compelling. I mean, Wicked is one of the most valuable pieces of IP out there. Splitting it means 2 massive opening weekends. It's just good business.
So the critics are basically asking, did the story earn 2 movies? Or was it stretched thin to make more money?
That's the cynical take, yeah. But the audience reaction kind of throws a wrench in that, because the fans didn't seem to mind the pacing.
No, for them it wasn't padding. It was more time with characters they already love.
Exactly. What a critic sees as a structural flaw, a fan sees as welcome breathing room. They value emotional detail over, narrative efficiency.
That's a really good point. And I think what holds both films together, despite the pacing debate, is the power of the core story.
Absolutely. It's still this incredible allegory for being an outsider, for being marginalized. And the casting in this film just amplified that in such a powerful way.
Casting Cynthia Erivo, a black woman, as Elphaba.
Yeah.
It takes the metaphor for green skin and just makes it so much more potent and relevant for today.
A lot of critics pointed to that as a masterstroke. It made the whole saga feel urgent and necessary. One called it a testament to diversity. It elevates the whole project.
So in the end, maybe that's the real payoff. Even if part 2 was structurally a bit wobbly for some, the emotional and thematic depth was so strong that audiences just went with it.
I think so. The journey shows this tension between what critics want and what fans need. Part 1 delivered the spectacle, Part 2 delivered the emotional closure.
A huge cultural event that reminds us that there's more than one way to measure a film's success.
And I think while Wicked, for good, might be an imperfect film structurally, its sincerity is undeniable, the audience score is the proof. That bond between Elphaba and Glinda, that's what people came for, and that's what they got.
That connection really is what it's all about. A fascinating case study, for sure.
Absolutely.
So what about you? Got any thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions or favorite moments in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more conversations and content on the latest news, movies, dramas, and books. And make sure you hit that bell icon so you won't miss any new updates.